Tao steps forward. I have a request.
Says, hey, you wouldn't happen to be one of those martial arts type of fighters, would you?
That is precisely.
He says, I have something you might like then. He rummages around and he pulls out what looks to be a throwing star. All 3 blades practically glow.
May I see it?
He says, absolutely.
Tao picks it up. He's had plenty of practice with things like darts, kunai, and shurikens of the regular manner. So he's testing the weight of it, seeing how
Perfectly balanced.
Just takes like a mini test, and like just from one end to the other, tosses it, like stretches his hands out as far as he can, and just like tosses it to the other hand.
Okay, and just for your reference, it is a 4-pointed throwing star. Okay, so when you do that, it flies straight, true, perfectly on target.
May I ask why it glows?
There's a bit of magic tucked down in it.
He says, he puts it down on the table and like scoots it to the side. He says, I'll look at this here in a minute, but there's something I'm here for. Takes out, sets it on the table. I'm looking for something like this, bigger.
Let's see. All right, he pulls out his book to kind of check through his inventory. Let's see if he has anything like what you're wanting.
In your language, I believe it is referred to as a nodachi that I am looking for.
Nodachi. Let's see. Ah, here we go. I do have something like that. He pulls out. It looks very similar to your sword, but much larger. And you feel just a slight aura about it as well.
Arcana check?
Yes, you're more than welcome to do an Arcana check.
I'm also going to. I only got a 6. I don't know anything about it.
Runs his fingers gently over the blade.
I got a 8.
He can't really feel the aura because he's not the most magically innate.
Mm-hmm.
But he definitely knows when a weapon's had work put into it.
That was 15.
What's the catch?
Okay. Says, well, I don't know how it works. I've never wielded it myself. But legend has it that it's cursed.
I'm gonna see if I can got it.
Okay.
Say 16 flat.
All right. What was everyone that rolled Arcana? What was their rolls?
15.
15.
I got 6.
You got a 6? Okay. And you got a 16?
Mm-hmm.
You've heard of this blade? You know that any wound inflicted with this blade bleeds profusely as if a major artery has been severed. You also have heard tale that there is a downside to the wielder, but for the life of you, you can't remember what that was.
Very heavy, damaging blade. I've read about it before, actually, but I can't stake my finger on what the down. I can say, though, it's very good for slash.
You knew almost all that he did, except for you'd never heard about the downside.
Takes it. He really wants the weapon, but the curse part, it just throws him off. He thinks about it for a sec.
1 silver piece.
And the magic throwing stars.
Says, there was only 1 magic throwing star, but the price for that, 4 silver pieces.
I'll take both.
I want to roll an insight check real quick.
All right. Insight? Okay, go ahead.
Natural 1.
Bad.
You are completely unsure of his motivations.
That's awfully cheap, sir. Now, not saying anything, I don't want to rack up the price on them, but for weaponry this magnificent, so to say.
Says, well, I have a large inventory. Sometimes, once it's been sitting around for a while, I just gotta move it along.
Okay, I gotta take it at face value. I didn't get a good insight here.
I have no idea about haggling, so I'm just watching.
I'm gonna roll.
Thinking it's
Okay.
a very good deal.
Go ahead.
Going to.
That's a 9.
Okay.
14.
You believe everything he just says? You two? You get the sense that he wants to get rid of it. You're not sure why, but he's just tired of owning it, it seems.
Well, as an extension of friendship and everything, I laid down the 5 silver. You'll take them.
I appreciate that, friend.
Okay.
What about you two?
I sent you the stats for the throwing star.
What about you two? See anything you guys prefer?
Do you happen to have any magic?
Magical scimitars. Let me see. Let's see.
What does it look like?
It's a big one. I'm assuming. If I'm looking at this picture correctly, it's like a demon star. It's not small. It's big.
Yes.
I have
hand combat where you
actually have that one
can't
saved.
chakra.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh! I'm reading stuff on it.
Yeah.
It gets better as I go.
Yeah.
All right. He pulls out the scimitar. He says, "Hey, this one might be to your liking. It is constructed from the finest dwarven steel and modified with the finest gnomish contraptions.
What was that?
That's a big move right
Says-
there.
I said it was
You get the final
manufactured with the
30% for it.
finest dwarven steel and modified with the finest gnomish contraptions.
Well, after
Check it,
she's
check it,
done,
check it.
how many more of these gnomish contraptions?
He says, I have several of these particular swords in inventory if you're interested.
I've heard tale of, what do they call it? Dragon powder?
Dragon powder. Oh, dragon powder.
You know, those weird swords that don't have blades, just hilts, that make a loud noise
I know to what you're referring.
and shoots a wee small pellet?
Says, I don't have any now, but I do know someone you could talk to if
Finish up
you're
with her.
interested.
Finish up with her, and we'll speak about this.
Okay, I'm gonna do an art.
Okay.
15.
It's not magical.
Okay.
It is, like you said, a contraption. So why don't you give me an investigation check instead?
I'll roll an investigation check.
Okay, it looks pretty.
Thank you.
Alright, come on, Forgotten, get a better roll here.
Say 14 plus 2, 16.
Hang on, I was reading the stats on this thing. What's everybody investigating?
The
scimitar.
scimitar that she's looking at.
It's a 16 for me.
I got a 9.
16
Are we doing investigation?
Yep.
Yes.
Dirty 20.
Okay. All right. As you guys are all looking at, taking turns looking at it, you realize there is a chain embedded in the hilt and also inside the blade, and you can separate it, and it extends. You realize that, and this scimitar, as it gets to the end, it actually hooks on the very end. You realize that you can extend it out and reel it back in.
So as a martial arts master, or master, quote unquote, I extend my knowledge to her and I say, look, it has abilities, and I stretch out the chain.
How much do you want?
Do 4 silver.
Fair price, Vinny.
Actually, don't take that. Forgotten lays down another 4 silver.
This is gonna go.
You're forgetting, I was royalty.
I paid 10 gold. I don't care.
Yeah, no. Forgotten, he's got some money. But also,
Alright.
he's trying to make friends here.
All of you, give me a perception check real quick.
Okay.
Oh, I was gonna ask.
It is for
a name
hearing
real
if it
quick.
matters.
Nat 20. Not 0, sorry.
It should not.
1. There we go.
It's a 9 plus.
Finally, I got an
proficiency.
18. Thank
What was the
God.
perception, right?
Yeah, perception.
Plus
It's
9,
a hearing check, just in case it matters.
15.
14.
Another dirty 20.
Okay. Everyone but
She's too busy looking at the
Liefel,
sword.
here's a like something kind of shaking back and forth underneath the booth. And then you kind of just see a slight twitch from the guy's foot, like sound of him kicking something and acting like nothing happened.
What was that noise?
And why did you look
What
at me
noise?
kicking?
What? I don't know what you're talking about.
Now, friend, please. You've got a lot of my interests, and you can have a lot of my gold, but there's a problem where you kick something below your booth, and I heard a noise. And my friends did as well, so please, tell us. Be honest.
Oh, that.
He takes
You wouldn't be interested in that.
Tal takes his hand on the silver that was put down for the weapons and draws it back and says, "What was the noise?"
Well,
I'm
You
sure
know,
it's another marvelous invention.
some magical items are more sentient than others.
Now you piqued my
You
interest.
piqued his interest.
And what is that?
It's a dagger I came across in my
Dagger?
travels.
Correction.
Dagger?
Please, pull it out. Let us see.
You
caught my
really
attention.
don't want to meet him.
Yes, I did.
It pulls the chest out. The chest is kind of shaking, and he's like, it punches the chest,
Forgotten's just grinning
stops shaking
wider
just
and
for a second.
wider.
sets it down, opens it up. Dagger flies out of the chest. And goes, where am I? Who are you?
Who are you? Actually, no. Forgotten reaches out into its with his mind. Who are you?
What do you mean who I am? Everyone ought to know who I am. Only
Oh.
the best dagger in all of the realm.
History check
Sure,
or Arcana, which would be better?
whichever you prefer.
I don't know anything.
But I still do have
Go
these.
into that.
I got a 15.
Crap it,
I
bro.
got a
We'll do
9.
a flat roll. 16. I'm not joking.
Okay. Forgotten and Jacob both have heard tale of this legendary dagger, known mostly for his arrogance.
Forgotten's still just smiling. What do you do, friend?
Says, what do I do? I'm the best dagger in existence. What do you mean, what do I do?
I do enjoy this thing.
Inform us, please.
Mr. O'Connor.
Says, would you like a demonstration?
Not on me or any of my friends. please.
Oh.
Why don't you go ahead? Regale us tales. Someone as great as you must have many.
At this point, Jacob, it was a serious look on his face and kind of like a devilish grin in one corner of his mouth, looks it back and goes, I'll take you.
Says, you'll take me? I am owned by no man.
Pulls out a short sword.
Is that supposed to frighten me? I'm a dagger.
I'm saying a duel.
A duel? You would duel me?
I will attempt.
Forgotten's just
If
sitting
you
there,
will
just
allow
like,
me.
well, this is
Probably
gonna be
helps, though.
interesting.
I also offhand a dagger.
All right.
Actually, never mind, not offhand. I'm just going to put that away.
Alright.
I better one-handed look.
Roll for initiative.
Yeah.
Just Jacob.
Why this happens? Forgotten turns around, keeping an eye on it. So those numbers contraptions we talked about earlier.
God for that. Okay. That
And also,
is a 23.
Who is this dagger? I'm intrigued.
Okay, we'll put that conversation on pause. What did you roll?
23.
All right, you go first.
Alright, okay.
Why?
You're attacking a dagger.
Yeah, I'm dueling a dagger.
What
Stop
the
me.
heck is AC?
No. Ooh.
You know there's such thing as like flying swords or swords,
15
right?
plus
That
7,
will
that
attack you.
is...
That's it.
I wonder what the AC is.
Ooh.
Being a dagger,
22?
why?
22 to hit.
You hit.
Dagger. Do I roll damage or just...
No.
Is this
You swing. He parries.
the Parry King? Dark Souls 3 has embodied. Come on, knife.
All right.
Zips behind you. Nothing personal, kid.
Oh, I got moves to counter some stuff like that.
All right. So he goes to stab at you, and you so quickly parry him away that he goes tumbling through the air several things and has to regain his balance, as it were, before hitting again. So it gives you an opportunity to swat him out.
Nat
So,
20.
Oh.
right, I was going to give you advantage, but you don't need it. All right. You take your sword and you smack him straight into the ground. He clatters, and he kind of floats back and goes, all right. You got moves, kid.
I was trained by one of the best.
Clearly not the best, because you didn't learn from me, but I'll give you. You got moves.
Forgotten just looks at his token. He's just like, if you want it, Jacob, have it.
You want to travel with me, little one?
Not if you keep that condescending tone.
You've got grip.
I like him.
I believe it's pronounced grip.
I have my mouth to say something, I close it immediately.
Forgotten nudges Leafia. Forgotten love is Leafia nudges Leafia and is like, correction. I really like him.
So, without taking my eyes off the dagger, I say to the dwarf in Dwarvish, how much for this?
And he replies, just take him.
I can't leave you with nothing.
He lays down. Forgotten doesn't even understand. He's just like, how much silver? Silver. Yeah. Here's the
He says,
silver.
he just in calmly says, just please take him with you.
Okay. Do you have a bag of holding?
Let's see.
Oh, Forgotten needs one just because. I don't know if the dwarf noticed. Forgotten's a walking armory.
Clunk, 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 clunk.
He ruffles around and he says, you'll see. He's just pulling stuff out of his chest, left and right. He goes, no. He starts putting stuff back in. Then he ruffles through somewhere else and he goes, aha, here it is. He says, it's my last one, so it's not going to be cheap.
10 gold.
Sold.
I open it up and I look inside. Is it a bag of holding or am I looking into a maw of a creature?
It is a bag of holding.
Thank God.
Now, if I stick my hand in here, I won't get pulled in, right?
Not that I know of. You're completely fine.
Okay, thank you. Starts opening up and starts unarsenaling himself. Just battle axe, great axe, halberd.
Okay, I'm gonna interrupt real quick because I don't mean to interrupt, but I'm stating out the thing you gave me. It doesn't give me a long range, so
It probably has the throwing range of a dagger, right?
well, I'm gonna give it the long range of a kunai or.
I was going to say kunai.
Yeah, so that's well, here's the thing. I'm doing it by, for instance, I'm doing it percentile based because like a kunai goes 20 feet long range 60. So by increasing it by an extra 50%, that'd be 90.
That's fine.
What's the bag of holding look like, though, by the way?
It is blue with runes up on the strap.
Is it like a normal, like, cloth bag? Is it like a backpack, a messenger bag?
It is a messenger bag,
He slings it over, just like, alright.
and it has a grinning face that seems to part when you lift the flap.
I'm going to ask the dagger its name.
Triumph.
Triumph?
And then finally, those enormous contraptions you.
What kind are you looking for?
Any and all.
Says what? I have more of those scimitars.
Take one silver. So you'll have to send me that stuff later.
Kind of.
Okay. What else?
Alright, let's see.
Clean and dry, boys.
See.
Basically, this is the thing. Joe put someone who has a lot of fun magical weapons to a person who just loves weapons. So it's just like, it's basically think of it like a gambling addict or like a drug addict. He's just like, I like that. Basically, when he ends up becoming like a pact of the blade and everything like that, you better believe if he sees a bandit with a cool looking sword, he's like, that's mine.
All right. So he pulls out this square contraption with a round glass thing on the front. He says, this is what we call a flashlight. He says, it's like a lantern, but uses lightning to power it instead of fire.
That is really interesting. But it's also not a weapon, so it's forgotten. Like,
May I see it?
Says, absolutely.
He takes it and
There is a button on it, and if you press the button, it will turn on.
he's inspecting it and it's very interesting. As you said, there's no fire, there's no oil, no lick. He clicks the button right in his face. Ah! Ah! And he smacks the side, clicks it off, and says, "Don't want it."
Forgotten just taps his eyes. He's like, that is quite amazing, but I kinda don't need them.
It's alright. Is anybody interested in it?
It is a torch, basically, that you can turn it off and on.
My sword blows.
And it's waterproof, by the way.
He says, "I don't want it." Picks up his star, and the star starts glowing. He says, "Yeah, I don't need it."
Alright, let's see. Starts rummaging around.
We've spent basically an hour-ish.
We're getting stuff.
Basically, it's just like, dude's cheap. I got money. Let go.
I do have a curse weapon, though.
So
you
I
bought
turned
that.
to him and I asked,
He says,
Buy.
he pulls out this bag of powder and he says, well, not a gnomish contraption, but the finest dwarven alchemists have created this. It's called powdered booze.
Do you add water?
No, you don't need to. All you take is a smidge, and it's like an entire flagon of ale.
Forgotten raises his pinky. Mind if I try?
Absolutely.
He dips it in, puts it on his tongue.
It's with the amount you had, you feel as you've just consumed half a flagon of ale.
You weren't joking. How much of this do you eat?
Depends on your constitution.
One could say. About 5 empty bags in the back.
And then the DM rolls on the metagaming table.
Ooh.
Constitution's a real term, thank you very much.
I know. My joke was funnier.
How much?
Says, keep in mind, this bag is about a gallon bag, I'd say. He says, 10 silver.
Clink. Zips it up, drops it in his bag of holding. Anything else? I got the gold.
All right. There is, let's see, what else do we
I
have?
think this guy's about to clean out my silver, but I do have copper to go.
Okay. He pulls out, he says, hey, will they be right then, assuming you two would be druids of some kind? He says, I have something that one of you might be interested in. He pulls out a large wooden mask.
can I do a Arcana check or and
Absolutely.
history?
I do too.
Both.
Yep.
Okay, that is a natural 22 and a 5. So my Arcana and my history.
Okay. You recognize this as a mask of the witch doctor. You realize it is a magical item that requires attunement, and once attuned to it, it has spells that you are able to cast from it, and also, in turn, once you're attuned to this, you are immune to other people casting those same spells against you, and it can only be attuned to either a druid or a warlock.
Did you get that messages, by the way, I sent you? I sent you 3.
Hold on.
That last one I sent you. I want to see if he ends up having as well.
Oh, okay, I see. Let's see. Okay, so are either of the druids interested in that?
I'm totally interested in that.
Okay. He says, I could let it go for 5 silver.
And I just look at Forgotten and like,
I dropped down 50 copper. I take back 5 copper. Actually, 10 copper. Actually, 15 copper. You cover the rest.
Oh.
You don't have any?
I don't have any.
You owe me 5 silver. Drops the rest of the copper. And you hear inside your head, "Hey, before I break your knees."
All right. Dwarf, grinning and jovial as ever, hands the mask over to you. And then, so, do you ask about that hood then that
Yeah.
you were wanting to find?
Yeah, I do. Hold on, sorry. So I seem to be looking over at Tao just playing with his and just like, I seem to be, I guess, what people call a warlock now. Do you have
Aye.
anything that I could make use of?
He looks you up and down, he pulls out a tape, he measures your head. Says, yes, I think it might. Must warn you that it's not for everyone.
What do you mean?
Says, well, if you're not actually what you say you are, trying to attune would have side effects.
Trust me, I'm no liar.
It's alright. He pulls out this
Devilish smile pops across his face again.
He pulls out this purple hood with a green jeweled clasp on it.
What does it do?
Says, well, it interacts with warlocks in a strange way. Give them a little boost here and there.
He nods. How much?
I'd say 5 gold.
Tink, 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 tink.
It's yours.
Puts it on plaster and is just like, by the way, it's quite rude of us. Shoots over a look at Bloom. What's your name, by the way, sir?
Just 1 second. Is this the one? Nope, that's not the one.
People can't find stuff.
Oops.
I was like, your name? What's your name?
Nope, that's not the one. Hold on just a second. I gotta find it.
I also speak Elvish and Undercommon. Where do you speak Undercommon?
Aha! Here it is.
Celestial and.
He says, my name's Gilgrim Silveraxe.
Spell that for me?
Grilgrim Silveraxe.
The question is, Triumph going to be a thing that I have to attune to, or is he just going to be hanging?
He's gonna be hanging around you.
Name of your business, by the way?
He says, well, I don't exactly have a name. I just kind of travel around place to place, and people know my pretty face.
What would you call yourself?
You can call me Grim.
Grim?
Then last question, because I believe we've taken up enough of your time. Do we have a way of getting a hold of you without randomly running into you? Maybe a scrying orb or a sending stone?
He rummages around in one of his chests down there. He says, hands you it. He says, this is a sending stone. It has a limited number of uses, so use it sparingly. I can recharge it, but it will not recharge on its own.
Okay.
So don't be pestering me unless you got legitimate business.
He takes it. How much?
For high-paying customers like you, this one's on the house.
Trust me. With how he looks around, I'm guessing everyone's halfway smiling.
I'm staring at the dagger still.
He goes,
I'm staring
what are you
at the
looking
mask.
I don't know,
Well, with
to be honest.
how happy everyone is, I won't be bugging you. Anytime I get a hold of you, be for business. But about those one weapons we talked about, see if your brother.
Aye.
He pockets the sending stone, which I'll have to see. I'll have to figure out if I can add, because apparently I don't have a sending stone in my inventory I can add. It's one of those items you could probably end up buying from a different book.
Just make one up then.
Upon hearing him say like weapons that I said, I go, oh, the silver daggers. I reach to my coin purse and pull out 20 gold. I'm like, I'm sure this will cover it.
Eyes very bright.
Just
That
get me
will
as
cover it indeed.
just get me as many daggers as this will get.
Okay.
Well,
I like
we
that
have
throwing
somebody else we have to go pay a visit to, but I'm still very interested. We'll talk to you again. Flips the stone like a coin, catches it. You have a great day, Grim.
And you do the same.
Forgotten some.
You'd think that's something you'd remember.
Oh, and my name is Jacob Belmont, by the way.
Ah, Belmont. That makes sense.
You know my clan? Surprised that someone else knows.
Once upon a time, I've met a Belmont or two.
If I should ever come back to my keep, if it still stands, I shall make you my personal armor.
Well, that's good to know.
Calling over his shoulder, Forgotten says, second that, and keeps walking away to the general store.
All right, what's everyone else doing?
Well, I'm gonna bow to him first.
All right.
We were outside. It was a stall outside.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, then walk away. They were just
Alright.
watching us do all this.
All right, so you guys head back to the merchant then?
Oh, yes. I think that dwarf was a little happy, though, with how much gold he got. Still on me.
I haven't forgotten.
No, he's forgotten.
Forgotten just rubs his bridge of his nose, just like, I am forgotten.
That good
I
one.
have not.
Okay.
On to the merchant to spend more gold. We're gonna have to pick up some jobs and start making gold.
I agree.
I start murdering bandits.
We'll see if they have a bounty board somewhere nearby, probably.
Maybe.
But gotta make sure we don't get our names too far out there.
Okay, so you guys make it back into the shop, and the shopkeeper's like, great to see you guys.
Howdy.
So, if you wait just a few minutes, my supplier should be here any minute now. So you guys wait around for a few minutes,
Forgot him sitting there tapping his foot, looking at his sundial, just like,
and a dwarf walks in. A very familiar looking dwarf.
Oi!
So,
The mug points.
well, how you guys doing?
Tal points. You again!
Indeed, it is I.
Flyers coming in.
Let me guess. You happen to have some of those gnomish contraption clockwork pistols, eh?
Well, not on me, but I can get them.
You're selling them to him, aren't you?
Well, it was more like brokering a deal here.
He's the middleman.
Basically. Well, I guess he has to get my gold this time then.
Aye, and he'll give it back to me, so either way, I'm getting paid.
Point enough. Alright, let's get the show on the road.
So we just wait in the shop till he comes back with his.
Well, there are several ways we could do this. It's like, one, you can wait here for me to procure some and bring them back. That'll take a couple days. Or you could just come with me and we'll deal with it there.
Vote, guys? Because that sounds like a plan to me. The second option.
I'm up for a little travel, I guess.
As long as we do something along the way. I don't enjoy playing bodyguard just so you can get more weapons.
The Birdman has a point. Me and him, he and I are here for a purpose.
Well, this is kind of a unanimous party. We can put it up to vote. You guys don't just dictate me pointing you around. We all have an equal say here. What do you guys want to do?
Same with anything, as long as we get on the road.
Not help us.
Can you guys roll me a perception check?
Come on, forgotten.
I have not noticed a thing.
16.
What is the opposite?
19.
Okay, those of you who rolled a 15 or higher notice there was someone looking in one of the windows who bolted when he was looked at.
I got a natural 20. Do I see more?
You noticed he was a human, and he had a familiar insignia.
I didn't
On
notice
his
Insignia, but
shoulder.
I noticed him bolt, and I think bad things, so I go after him. Out the door.
Excuse us. This is very important. Run!
Out the door with my wings, as soon as I'm outside.
I follow him
Unfold
too.
and fly.
I follow
We'll
very
be right
confused.
back. Wait there.
I follow very confused.
Before we go, I say, we
Okay.
still have your calling stone.
Okay, at this point, he notices he's being pursued, and he starts yelling, "Guards! Guards! Guards!"
I whip off my hood and keep running.
I have a flying speed of 50 feet.
Okay, you are able to overtake him.
Just run up and just flying shoulder bash to knock him to the ground, so that way I can at least slow him down to get my companions there.
All right,
Allie,
roll me an
it's an
acrobatics
alley.
check to see if you can hit him.
19.
Yes, you are able to knock him over.
Nah.
Drag to an alley.
I look around.
Meanwhile, he's still yelling, "Guards!
Shut
Guards!"
So I walk up with my bird claw foot and just over his mouth.
I'm gonna start yelling, guards, guards.
Different direction.
Pretend
Different
it's-
direction.
I run off yelling, guards.
Alright, fine. Strong guy left. Alleyway. Go, go, go.
I take the hit and I look at the nearest alleyway and just pick him up and fly that way.
Okay, give me a strength check to see if you can fly with his added weight.
20 or 21.
Yeah, that'll do it.
I'm still sprinting after him. Just.
Okay, before you can silence him, he did attract a little bit of attention. So two guards meander over in that direction. Meanwhile, 5 guards seem to be going towards your direction, Jacob.
Noticing the 2 guards, I grind to stop. Back immediately straight that posture, flip around. Yes?
Sorry, sir. We heard shouting. We came to see what the matter was.
It's a private matter. Let's just go ahead and say the lovely woman I spent the night with, got peeped on. And then he noticed me and started running. And then he yelled guards. So, can I get some privacy?
They look at each other. They look rather flustered, and they, yes, sir. Yeah, sorry to bother you.
I'll make sure the young maiden gives you your regards.
Yes, sir.
Very good. He turns on a heel, hands behind his back, and walks back into the alley proud.
Did I see the guards, more guards have noticed me?
Yeah.
I stop, I turn around, I go, guards, a man just stole my beloved's necklace. He ran that way.
So, what did he look like?
He was a tall man wearing a dark robe. His eyes were blazing purple.
They all look at each other with concern. You hear one of them mutter, "Him again."
He also said something about for the rebellion.
Now you have their attention. They say, "You wait right here. We will be back." And they all run off in that direction.
I'm gonna go off towards them.
Him again. He's with the rebellion.
Anyway,
As I walk up, I'm gonna,
back to the alley.
Alright, so you guys get back to the alley. Meanwhile, you're clamping your foot quite
Forgotten.
forcefully over his mouth.
Forgotten straightening his road cuffs, just like that was easy.
Look down and finger to the beak. No more yelling.
I go ahead and give him a pat down for any weapons.
You find a dagger, and you also find a coin purse in the midst of your pat down.
What's the dagger look like? Is it nice?
It is just a regular old dagger.
Man collection. Into the bag of holding. I need to add a dagger to my inventory. Coin purse. Pop it open.
5 gold pieces.
Okay. We'll split that up in a second. And then I see the insignia, yeah?
Yeah.
My family?
Just the regular insignia.
Tear it off.
Okay, you do that. Comes off. I mean, you're not able to just tear it off. You're gonna need a knife
I
to
pull
get
out
it
the
off.
same dagger he gave me and just sit there and neatly cut around it. Just
Meanwhile, he's struggling a
When
bit.
he does that, I pull out the Nodashi and just like point it like right between the eyes. Just don't struggle.
He seems to struggle slightly less after that.
intimidation check of a 23.
That'll do it. He settles down after that.
I turn to Forgotten. I'm like, what's going on?
We're about to fight. Slowly lift one time, please.
Just literally one claw. Just think.
Can you halfway talk? And if you yell, he's gonna have fun with that.
I won't yell. I won't yell.
It's up to you. But if you let him go, we should tie him up.
Get tied.
Okay, tie up his feet real quick. And I'm talking about not just around the ankles, I'm talking up past the knees, just knot after knot.
Give me a performance check.
Oh, that is +5. Not bad. It's charisma. Ooh, but that's a 9.
That's a 9.
I look at it. That's great work. What do you might want to double check? I'm not good at tying rope.
It's slightly sloppy, but you think it'll hold.
have I gotten here yet, or am I still coming?
Yeah, you're there.
Okay.
One of you else
we
try to
got it.
touch.
I distracted those guards. There was like 4 guards. Although I think we have about 20 to 30 minutes before I think they realize I just sent them on a wild goose chase.
Then when I hear that, I put the Nodashi like literally touching his forehead. Now I say that means we only have 20 minutes to get what we need. Don't lie.
Wouldn't dream of it. If you pay attention, you realize he's starting to perspire just a bit.
So then I slowly let up, don't step on him anymore, and then sheath the Nodashi.
He continues to lay on the ground.
Ask no questions.
What are you doing?
My job.
And your job entails
Garden foreman.
garden foreman. About what? Why were you spying on us?
Suspicious activity.
Suspicious how?
People asking about firearms. Heard word of people talking about the rebellion in the shop.
I look him really dead in the eye. I'm like, I'm allowed to have them.
Yes, sir.
I'm the one that asked for them.
Oh, my apologies, sir.
And I had my friend nods his head over to Jacob, and I had him trying to sit there and ask about the rebellion so we could get information and report back to the capital. Understand?
Yes, sir.
Now, who sent you?
It's my job to roam the city. I work for the guard.
So who told you about the suspicious activity against me and my family?
People.
Who? Spit out your words.
People.
Intimidation check again. I want you to speak.
He's already dead.
Oh, that's an unnatural 20. +7 intimidation, yo.
So how do you intimidate him?
I slowly just lean down. Hold on, I want to reread a quick spell. I slowly read down, my devilish smile widening, and then I use prestidigitation to slowly have smoke emanate from my mouth, nostril, and a fiery crown around my head. Speak.
The shopkeeper.
The shopkeeper. Interesting. I drop his coin purse of 5 gold back on. I cut one of the strands of the rope, so you're going to do me a quick favor here.
Anything you say, sir.
You're going to tell him you didn't find it, okay?
Yes.
I drop another 5 gold by his head. And then you're going to take a long vacation far away from here.
Yes, sir.
Come back, or if I see you, you don't know what my family does for fun, do you?
No, sir.
Human hearts are very good for arcane rituals and such.
What little color that was left in his face is gone.
And not talking about I lean down and I tap my foot in between his legs. Not talking about the male specimen bit either. That's very good for potency.
He's sweating a lot at this point.
Alright, we should be able to get out of those ropes as soon as we leave. If you see us, you go the opposite direction. I don't want to see you again.
Yes, sir.
Anybody else have any other questions? Comments?
I think we should leave with the dwarf now.
Thoughts? Good enough.
Yep, I agree.
What is your name?
Oh, Jesus.
Bevan, Your Highness.
Beth.
Bevan.
Oh, I'll forget that. Looks at his sundial, realizes he's in an alley, sun's not hitting it, taps it a couple times. I'll forget that in maybe an hour. But if I see you again any other time, sure.
Yes, sir.
Very good. Pat him on the chest. Have a good day, sir.
You as well, sir.
Well, we need to get back to that shop.
I say we do it stealthily, so we've already attracted enough attention.
No, the guards shouldn't bug us.
You guys.
True.
Tao just looks at him. What did you say?
I may have said that someone might have stolen my beloved's necklace, and that he may or may not, that certain unknown person, then shouted, "For the rebellion."
Tao just,
I needed a distraction. That would get their attention and get them to go away.
we have the stone. I think we.
I want to point this out. 2 guards approached us after you ran off, and I told them that him back there was peeping on the last I was spending the night with, and to give us some privacy. So, if you guys want to be stealthy, that'll only draw a little bit more attention, don't you think? Because what was the man you described?
Wearing dark clothes, dark cloak, and had striking purple eyes.
I look up and down at him, and just like, magic can make purple eyes. Otherwise, you fit the bill, don't you?
Myself?
Yes.
Not really. I don't have purple eyes. I'm not wearing dark clothing. It says wearing white and blue gear.
Oh, I forgot you were wearing white and blue. Oh, very well.
He's one of the very few colorful people.
And I look back and I see, the Aarakocra, the other tiefling, and then the human. I guess mud could be mistaken for dark clothes.
Anywho, I think we should go right now, while they're still maybe in pursuit.
I've been saying this, and I've been keep walking.
Oh, we'll be walking? Okay.
Yeah, I'm walking. You guys, if you want to stealth, you can. I'm just saying, if you do it, it'll make it look a little suspicious.
Gotta own it like you own it.
I actually have really
I don't think I do.
kind of
You're a monk. You're main dex. So even if you're not proficient, you should stealth.
Oh, I am proficient.
You had the same thing I
Plus
do.
7.
Yeah.
Yay. Which is
yeah,
weird.
no.
I probably should do that because the wings probably give it away.
I walk out on the street. Are there any guards?
Not in this area. That's
Are they?
probably because they all ran off.
Well, we're clear for now. Any of them approach, we'll deal with it.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm gonna take like my bedroll and not like a blanket I have on me or something. I'm gonna like throw it over myself like a robe thing.
Okay.
Okay.
Hold on.
Just like enough to like keep my head covered. Not my face, but just my head.
I can't change colors, never mind. And I don't think I have minor illusion, so never mind. Alright, we walk back to the shop.
All right. They're still waiting there, rather confused.
We walk in. Does the door have a lock?
The front door, you mean? Yeah.
I pull it closed and I lock it. Turn back around. So, we had a spy knocking at our door because somebody asked for a firearm, and then thoughts of a rebellion was brought up, sir.
The dwarf looks confused, and why don't you give me a perception check?
D20 go right there.
Just look at everyone or just one person.
I had a white
Any of
one.
you can.
I didn't see it.
Do you see where that smoky D20 went also?
No.
I do not. I will have to find it later, I guess.
I'll
Oh,
leave
nope, I found it. Perception.
Natural 20.
Ooh, that's not good.
19.
I see 5 people sitting around a table.
I got a 14.
Also natural 20.
Okay, you notice that Nick can't count.
No, I mean like from my perspective, like I'm seeing from my eyes.
Well, your character would see.
I know, but I'm playing my character actually. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Also got a 14.
Okay, those of you who rolled an 18 or better, notice the shopkeeper says, "What was that all about?" But when he says that, those who rolled the 18 or better notice kind of a slight twitch in his face. Like he's trying to keep a solemn mask.
Just Cal just walks up, puts his elbows on the bar. Nervous?
What would I have to be nervous about?
Maybe because you're mean?
Be fair, besides this hardy gentleman behind me, you're the only one I've mentioned firearm.
I don't know what to tell you.
That's two people. And I just met him this morning. And honestly, we just left his shop before we came here.
In the meantime, Gilgrim looks over at the guy and says, well, I certainly didn't tell them.
I pivot on my heel and was like, you don't say. Well, Mr. Gilgrim, in a situation like this, what would you do to someone who goes back on it?
Well, considering he had a bit loose lips, if you were, probably remove his tongue.
I pivot back. Well, wouldn't that be such a shame? Not your shopkeeper, no tongue, you can't sell product.
He looks like he's starting to get to him a bit. Like he's trying to hold his composure, and he's not as good as he was when you first came in.
So I pull out my regular katana, and I just let it sit in the air, how sharp the blade is, let the light reflect on it. I would, but I am a monk. I take a vow to only hurt when necessary. So I hand the katana to you on the other hand. That's what you do.
Forgotten looks at
And
it.
then
just like,
I turn my back to the people.
before you turn it back, he's like, oh my god, this is great weight. Perfectly done, of course. So, sitting there holding it, kind of tapping it to his neck, he's just like, well, I mean, I would hate to honestly get blood on my cuffs, though. Hey, Gilgrim.
Yes.
So, if a man tried to not only back out of a deal, but then get the guards on you, would it make you personally do it yourself?
Well, it might.
Putting the katana down so it's kind of like a cane, not too hard, because he respects the blade. You notice it's on kind of like the tip of his tip of his boot. He's just then like, so group, it seems like we have loose lips. What would you guys say to do?
Hey, sounds like it's time for a vow of silence.